Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Christian Höferle. Christian is the founder and CEO at the Culture Mastery. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Christian. Christian, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Siddique.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity, and let's get started. And where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
There was more than one moment. I think the first moment was when I was a teenager and was first prompted to live outside my birth culture. I was born and raised in Germany and then spent a year in a US high school in the year 1988. That was the first time I was confronted with a different set of behaviors, a different set of norms. And I call it opened my blinders. It actually removed my blinders. I could see that people do things differently around the world and they still get results. And many years later, I found myself having moved to the United States with my wife and our first daughter, trying to move away from my birth culture in order to live a different life abroad. And then a big German company announced that they were going to invest billions of dollars in my backyard, basically. And I turned to my wife and said, we try to move away from Germany. I think Germany just found us. And that's what prompted my work as a cross-cultural consultant.
Based on your experience, what are the top three reasons why do people fail?
Well, there are many reasons aside of those top three, and I gave that some thought before we went live. In my field, in my line of work, we work with multinational companies, multinational organizations who have operations outside of their headquarter country, who are sending people overseas, or who are working with multinational, multicultural teams. And three of the recurring failure reasons that happen in these work setups are people assume, they make assumptions that they know about each other, that they understand each other. They think they know and then don't. So assuming is, I think, one of those big failure reasons. And I invite our clients to seek knowledge and seek understanding rather than making assumptions. Number two would be self-importance. A lot of multinationals and people who work in those contexts, they usually have a rather high opinion of their own competencies and skills. That's why they're being put in those scenarios. So sometimes that is, it takes a dysfunctional side, and they think of themselves more importantly than they actually are. So humility might be a good antidote to that. And thirdly, I would say blaming is one of those reasons for failure. People sometimes do not assume responsibility for their own actions and rather blame somebody else for what's going on. And one of the suggestions that we make is instead of blaming, practice gratitude, practice appreciation for what you have accomplished, for what your teammates have accomplished, for what you have now.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Yeah, I hate talking about this. Thanks for bringing this up, Siddique. I think one of my greatest failures was early in my career when I presumed that my breadth and depth of knowledge and competence in the field, that what I have up here would be sufficient enough to engage with any type of audience, that people will accept me, respect me, and seek me out just because I'm the smartest guy on that topic. That's, again, self-importance, right? So that didn't help at all. And I quickly learned that thinking that my knowledge and my competency is going to be enough. So that was a humbling experience. It was painful, and thankfully enough, I had people around me that kicked me in the heels and supported me in adjusting my style.
Christian, based on your experience, what are the top three success secrets that can model from?
I like the way you phrase this because successes and failures, any type of human behavior that leads to an outcome can be modeled. If one person can do it, others can too, if we unpack the strategies of how people go about it. Top three, again, that's a tough one to narrow down. I would say presuming that every human behavior has a positive intent behind it is one model. I think no human action, no human behavior is good or bad in itself. Everybody who behaves a certain way, does things the way they do it, does so because they have an outcome in mind that will be positive for them and ideally for everybody involved. Not always do we immediately recognize what this positive intention might be, and then we reject it as something that is foreign or strange or uncomfortable or unknown to us. So one success secret would be presume that the other person has a positive intention. Number two would be take nothing personal. Nothing that people say or do has anything to do with you. It has everything to do with them. So what people do is about them. It's about fulfilling their goal or chasing their dream. And if we take other people's action as personal, we make it about ourselves, and we're doing the other person a disservice and ourselves. And number three, I think, and this is from a book that I recommend to almost all of our clients. A book is called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And one of these four agreements is to always do your best. Now, that sounds like your grandma's talking to you. However, I think always doing one's best is a standard that has varying levels, because what your best is today might not be the same best tomorrow, because today you might be incapacitated because you've got the sniffles, or you have a headache, or whatever the reason might be, or you woke up late and an hour of your day got away from you. So your best may be different today than it is tomorrow. As long as you are accountable to yourself and promise yourself that you do the best you can with the resources you have available, that will be leading to your personal success. So those would be my top three if you had to pin me down on those.
What motivates you within?
A desire to succeed, in a very basic way, a desire to put a roof over my family's head and put food on the table. And also, in a more philosophical way, what motivates me within is my cultural origins. As I said in the beginning, I'm born and raised in Germany. I was born and raised after World War II, obviously. However, I am very much familiar with the history of my country and the history that and the legacy that my grandparents and great-grandparents' generation left behind for us. And it is my obligation to do better than them. And that's why I do the work that I do. I think that any type of conflict around the world is usually based on a failure to recognize each other at a human level. And if people don't recognize each other's cultures, they go at each other's throats, and in the worst case, go to war with each other. If my work can help avoid these conflicts and help resolve conflicts because of a deeper cross-cultural understanding, then my life's work is done, and that's what motivates me.
What is your company's motto?
Well, you see behind me there, if you don't get culture, culture will get you. So it's quite easy. You got to get it in a deeper sense, because it will bite you in the rear if you don't.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is any type of organization who does business or who does what they do best outside their own country and culture, maybe outside their own language, who has in one way or the other global operations. That would be an ideal client.
Just as a follow-up, even within the US, there are some big companies. There's so much diversity is also because people come from the immigrant country, land of opportunity. You are immigrant, I'm immigrant. There's you don't have to have international business to be adapt a culture.
Well, and I think even within a country like the US, we have many subcultures, right? So um, we could expand that. Yes, and thank you for that follow up. You might be an organization who does business domestically here in North America, whether it's Canada, the US, or Mexico, and yet you have clients, you have vendors, you have team members that come from a different cultural background than your own. So yes, that would fit into the client avatar as well.
How do you find your ideal client?
Multiple avenues. So social media marketing has been really helpful in the last 10 years. A lot of word of mouth. Happy clients bring other clients that want to be happy. Um, networking in real life, back when we were able to meet up in real life. I know we're going slowly back to that, but networking offline and online has been helpful. I do. I don't want to say that I refrain from big marketing. That's not true. In my experience with my type of client, relationship building is paramount. So we in our industry we have fairly long sales cycles, and a client that is ready to commit today may have been introduced to me 2 years ago. So the ideal client is somebody that will become ideal over the course of a relationship. So anything that fosters relationship building is helping in finding an ideal client.
How do you engage your ideal client?
But showing them what we do. It's either that they come to a session, we do webinars, we do online trainings that are a low threshold to entry. We let them peek into our work that we've done with previous clients, if previous clients or existing clients approve of that and give us permission to share the work with others. Case studies, any type of testimonial, when a happy client says, hey, this is what Christian and his team have done for us, and this is why you need it. That would be typically the ways we engage.
What are your well-defined products or services?
Mainly cultural training and coaching programs. These are the core pillars of what we do. So training as an ongoing experience where we transfer knowledge for either individuals or for a group of people. That could be expatriates, so employees that are sent from one country into another with the expectation of being successful in the other location. And that would be then a trainer 1-to household. Typically that expatriate might be a single individual, it might be a couple, and only one of the partners is being sent abroad, and the partner is relocating along but without transferring their career. It might be an entire family. So we typically say one on household. And then the other training option is typically with teams, multinational, multicultural teams. So it would be one too many. And the other pillar is coaching. So this is an ongoing experience where we work one-on-one with executive global leaders, or we work in a group coaching scenario where we have a coach, or sometimes a coach plus a subject matter expert that comes in for an entire group over the course of a predefined period. In addition to that, we offer language support. So if people need to improve their foreign language skills, we can help with that as well. And we have a small team and a set of partners around the North American territories, and even in Europe, where we can support with what's called destination services. So if a client needs some logistical support for transferees, we can set them up with a destination services agent that can help them with home finding, school enrollment, all the government agencies, driving license, banking, and that sort of thing.
Why someone should buy from you?
Because they don't want culture to get them. Typically, people work with us or buy from us because they either are proactive about the fact that doing business globally requires what we call ICEQ. That's ICEQ. That's a combination of IQ, your subject matter expertise, what you know, IQ, plus CQ, your cultural intelligence, and EQ, your emotional intelligence. So we call this IQ in combination. So clients know that without IQ, their success rate abroad will be in danger or is not going to happen. So it's a risk mitigation. It is also to fix something. Oftentimes clients come to us because they've screwed up, they made a mistake, they alienated a team member or a couple of team members, maybe a whole subsidiary abroad, or they lost a client because of a cultural gaffe, and then they ask us to come in and fix it. So there's preventative maintenance and also repair maintenance, if you want.
How do you crush your competition?
I don't crush competition. I don't believe in crushing anyone. There's enough abundance out there for everyone. I hope everybody succeeds. This is not a race. There's enough to be done in this field, and actually, I prefer collaboration over competition.
How do you deliver a 5-star client experience?
Remember what I said earlier. Always do your best. Presume positive intent. Take nothing personal. And number 4 would be take ownership of the process. So we're a small, lean team. I'm the owner, I'm the founder, and we have a network of associates and partners around the world. I personally vet everybody that works with us. So I still have tight reins on that, which at this scale of our company is still a good way to operate. At some point, the vetting process will be done by somebody else than me. I think it begins with finding the right people to deliver services. I think that's where the 5-star client experience begins. And it ends with never letting go of the client, with letting the client know that we're there for them and that we have their success in mind. And even though we might not be delivering service anymore, we still stay in touch with them and we check in with them and see where they are in their process.
How do you convert your clients into brand ambassadors?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, right? I'm still working on that. Some of them turn into brand ambassadors by themselves because they're really happy and engaged and they see immediate results. Others see it more as a transactional thing. I think the answer lies in the previous question, right? So if we successfully deliver a 5-star experience, the likelihood of a client becoming a brand ambassador is much higher. So we ask our clients if they want to go on record, if they feel comfortable sharing a testimonial with the world on our socials, on their socials. Not every time a client is willing to do that because we sometimes come in through the back door because we fix something that the client doesn't want to be publicly seen. So not every time a client is willing to broadcast the fact that we've successfully helped them fix something. So it really depends on the scenario.
How do you handle rejections?
Rejections are simply a desire for more information. So if somebody says no, I don't make it a no forever. I make it a no for now. And I continue asking them what it is they would like to know about it and what information would help them to remain open to the option of working with us. So I don't want to say I don't take no for an answer. Of course I do. And yet I think a rejection is a snapshot decision that in the moment somebody is not ready to commit yet. And it depends on me as the one engaging the prospect to remove the obstacles for them to recognize the benefit that we can provide for them. So rejection is simply a reminder, a feedback for me to deliver information, to provide data and input to my prospect in a better way.
How do you handle an angry client?
I don't know this yet because I never had an angry client. Sometimes clients might be dissatisfied with something that happened. Sometimes it might be that I am or one of our associates is responsible for that, and then we take ownership and we do what's within our power to make it right. It doesn't happen often, to be honest, and I don't want to sound like, oh, we always hit our benchmarks, but I have yet to meet an angry client. They might be angry with what's going on in their business or a relationship that's not working for them in a global scale, that some customer, vendor, team member is not performing or is not doing what they expect them to do. Then we obviously we help them handle that emotion, getting over it in order to come to a more well-formed outcome. But no, I don't remember having had an angry client, a client that is angry at us.
We are about to move into lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
Ready? Bring it.
What are you grateful for today?
That my oldest daughter, who is 19 years old, successfully moved to Berlin from Atlanta 2 days ago, and she's living in her apartment. She went to the bank, set up the bank account, and that she's wealthy, healthy, successful, doing her own life, being a global young professional. That's what I'm really grateful for today.
Congrats.
Thank you.
How do you start your day?
Either by turning on the espresso machine, or if it was on overnight, making me an espresso. I am a sucker for Italian coffee. I have multiple espressos throughout the day. I need my caffeine kick in the mouth in the morning.
How young are you?
I am 51.
Christian, you are not 51.
I am.
You are 18 years old.
Oh.
Rest is all experience.
I like that. I own that.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I have no intention of growing up. I think growing up is a scam. It's don't do it. Just stay a child at heart. I don't like growing up. No, not falling for that. It's a trap. Nope.
What are your plan to achieve your goal?
What is my plan to achieve my goal? Depends on the goal. This year, one of the goals that's on my vision board is to build a training center right next to our home. We've already poured the foundation, and the plan for this is to get the contractor to deliver the materials and follow the plan, the architectural plans to build the structure and hopefully be ready to use the building by April. So that will be the biggest goal for this year, and the plan's already in action. I'm excited about that.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
Depends on how important the thing is that life throws at me that gets in my way. If there's a challenge that gets in my way of something that's really important to me, there's this phrase that I remember from many years ago. One of my mentors told me, no matter whether it's over, under, around, or through, whatever it takes, I will do. So obstacles are there to be removed. If it's really important, I'll find a way.
What is the advice you will give to a younger yourself?
Be more consistent. I was flaky when I was younger.
Once you have a revenue-generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Oh, my wife does not need convincing. If it's a revenue-generating idea, my wife is the one that will make the fire under me to see it through. So no, my wife is gung-ho.
Who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
Living mentor. Ooh. There's more than one. I think some of the people whose books I've read over the years and who I really enjoy and recommend books. So one would be a gentleman by the name of Andy Molinsky, who wrote a book called Global Dexterity. He doesn't know that I see him as a mentor now. If he watches this now, he will know. The same is true for Aaron Meyer, a professor at INSEAD University in Paris. wrote the book The Culture Map, which has also had a big impact on the way that I view my work. A lot of smart people who've shared their life experience, their work experience with the world through either books or other media. I consider them living mentors. And then there are a few people in my, I would say, close circles. One of them, a collaborator, a colleague, a co-conspirator, would be Brett Perry, my Aussie friend in Chicago. He serves as a mentor to me as well, because he brings light from a different angle. He helps me view other perspectives, and I think I do the same for him.
Why being impactful is important to you?
Well, have we really lived if we haven't left an impact? What's the record, right? And what I said earlier about my sense of obligation as a German to the world, I think that's a theme that doesn't go away. I think if your ancestors systematically eradicated 6 million people of Jewish faith and killed so many more because of a misguided ideology, then I think it is an obligation for me to do what I do. So it's important for me to have an impact in that area.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for being my authentic self, the culture guy who is helping people remove obstacles created by cross-cultural misunderstanding. I want to be remembered as somebody who had fun doing what he does, and I want to be remembered as a good husband and father.
How can we support you?
Sharing the story, sharing the work that we do, tell everybody about it, and engage with me. And if you find me in real life, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, shoot me a note. Let's meet for coffee. I make great coffee here myself, if I can say so. And I will meet for coffee elsewhere if that's what it is, or other beverages. So don't be a stranger.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I liked it a lot. I think having you prompt me with these thought-provoking questions keeps me on my toes. So it's not a rehearsed question and answer. It's actually forcing me to think about something substantial, and hopefully I met my own expectation.
What would you say as a final word?
Stay curious and stay humble.
Thank you so much, Christian, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you very much.